everyone. My name is Victor. I'm the CEO of Wallflower. Danny is joining me as well. He's our lead firmware engineer. And we're a Boston-based startup, a couple years old, and we're trying to solve the number one cause of home fires, which is unattended cooking. So forgetting that your stove is on and either leaving the home or being in the home, and forgetting that it was on, or your child touching the stove, or your aging parent, et cetera, et cetera. About every 85 seconds there's a home fire, and about 50% of the home fires are caused by your stove. It's an open flame, with something cooking on it, and it is the predominant issue when it comes to home fires. So what we're developing is a piece of hardware that connects to any appliance, gas or electric, and essentially internet enables it, and it warns you if you've left your stove on and forgotten. So what we're going to do, we'll just start with a quick demo just to kind of show you how it works, and then we'll go into some further detail as we go along. So it's when you install the device. So what the next generation device, which we have our alpha prototype that we're going to show today, but this is a dummy of what it's actually going to look like. So we actually replace the power cord on any electric stove, for example. All the power cords are the same on every appliance that's out there. So we replace it, and the only difference between a standard power cord and our power cord, as you saw, is we essentially have a switch box, which this is what actually turns your stove on and off, and a controller device, which you can interact with, or you interact with the device using the application. Now, the application that I'm going to show you, that's in 1 second here. So this is an early version of the UI. It's going to change, or it's actually already changed, but we're working on the actual device now, so we don't have a 120 volt prototype, so we just have to show you the old version, but it's essentially going to give you a good idea of how it works. So once you install the device and connect your stove to the internet, you connect it to your home network, you pair your phone to that device. It works via Bluetooth, so we know if you're home, if your phone is present and you're connected to the stove. So in this scenario, we've already set it up, everything's normal, your stove is on standby. The moment you begin to cook, which is our little LED fire over there, so we're not, just to give you a quick example. So what that device actually does, the reason we use that, other than it looks like a flame, it's drawing power. So the same way as your cooking appliance draws power, that's how we have a current sensor, that's how we know it's on. In a gas appliance, we sense gas flow, that's how we know your gas is on. So the moment you start to cook, as you saw the user interface change, it starts a countdown timer. That countdown timer can be set to anything. For example, maybe you set it for 30 minutes, maybe an hour. It really depends on how often you cook. If you ever fall asleep on the couch or you forget, you're watching TV, whenever that timer expires, it goes into a warning state. It sends you a notification on your phone. If you don't respond to the notification, your appliance shuts off for you. So in 13 seconds here, you're going to see the user interface change to a warning state. And then there's another countdown timer, which again is user configurable, which at the expiration of that timer, the device will turn off, or your stove will turn off. So I'll just let it, so right now in a couple seconds, you'll see it change. And at that point, let's say you're cooking Thanksgiving turkey, right? You forgot that you set it for 30 minutes, but you really you're trying to cook for, I'm going to refresh this. Sorry, it says it's an old demo, sorry. What it's going to do, in 30 seconds, it'll probably switch off, or for some reason the user interface isn't updating. It's not working. It's not working. Okay. That's how it always goes with demos, right?
It worked before.
Yeah, we tried it before, it was working fine. But anyway, so let me see if this works. There it goes. What I did now, I just manually shut it off. So unfortunately, you didn't see it turn off when the timer expired. But in the scenario that it did turn off, you essentially now have to restart your stove, right? And in this scenario here, you haven't turned the knobs off, right? You still have the power cord. So we'll send a reset command, and you'll see it click on and off. I don't know if you noticed that, but you're not allowed, you can't turn your stove back on unless you physically turn your knobs off, right? So we don't want people to remotely restart their stove if they're not at home. So if you turn the power off on the actual, he's going to click it off, and I'll send another restart command. And you'll see that the user interface change back to everything's normal. If you start cooking again, I'll just give you another quick demo. You'll see the timer start counting down, and then in the case of you leaving your home, you can disconnect using, you can disconnect Bluetooth. And when our device senses your phone disconnected, you're back in the warning state, right? So this is what you should have saw before. So now it's working. So this is the warning state icon or user or interface, and you have the ability, for example, say you went out and you're to the garden and you want to grab some tomatoes and you don't want your stove to turn off. You'll have the ability to add more time, which I won't do. You just send an update to increase the time. And if you do nothing here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you'll see the stove turn off. So that's how it works. It's very simple. It's meant to be simple. You can interact with the stove using your phone, or you'll have a controller. You might as well want to hold up the controller.
Can we make 2 questions?
Yeah. So this is one thing. So the controller also gives you the ability to interact with the stove, so you don't have to go to the app. So it's a nice. It gives you 2 options in order to interact with your stove. Okay, thank you. Questions? Sorry, y'all probably came up at the same time.
Can you get an insurance discount?
Right, so yes, we have an investment already from an insurance carrier. We're working on partnerships as we speak. 8 out of 10 homeowners are willing to give up their data for an insurance discount. Not everybody wants to give that data. But from an insurance standpoint, if you think about it, if this is number one called the home fires, they have no idea how often you cook, just from the fact that they know how often you touch a stove with this product. Obviously, they'll give insights into them pricing their homeowner's insurance model, or they're pricing their homeowner's insurance to you. So, for example, if you're a single person that never touches a stove today and you live in a neighborhood, the house next door is exactly the same build and everything like that, you're paying the same amount even if the house next door has a family with kids that touch the stove all the time. So there's going to be, they'll have some more insights and be able to price homeowners insurance better using the data that we did provide.
I have 2 questions. 1, how are you selling these right now? And 2, this puts the burden on the user to actually set a timer. Have you looked at using any kind of vision or any kind of infrared sensors to detect abnormal equipment?
Yeah, I mean, so we've already done some, like I said, in-home studies. As far as how we're going to sell this is going to be in big box retail. We're talking, obviously you can think about it, this is a home product. It's going to be sold, where the appliances are sold, so the Lowe's and Sears, et cetera, are the folks we're talking to. As far as the timers, there's a default timer that's set, right? And it's really up to the user to say, do you want it less than 30 or more than 30? Right now, we found that that's probably good enough. We're giving some basic features in order to take care of, 80 to 90% of the reason why these things happen. As far as like infrared or motion sensing, things like that, that's something we may add later. But right now, we're working on getting, the basics covered and get that into market, and then we'll work on updates. Because we have a controller that sits above the stove, for example, and that controller can be updated and replaced, so you don't have to replace the entire product. You can replace one piece. We'll plan on creating more advanced versions of it in the future. But right now, the plan is just to get this in market and cover 80, 20-year-old, get most of the problem covered, and then work on advanced features later.
On a gas stove, does the gas solenoid generally shut down if it loses power?
The starter, you mean?
No. If you have a gas stove going,
right?
All right. There's a solenoid valve that's opened up that allows the gas to flow.
Right.
How do you affect that with a gas stove? So if you pull the plug on a gas stove,
we're not. Yeah. So this is what you saw is only electric. So we actually have a valve. So you install a valve that has its own a solenoid we control,
right?
And so we turn the gas on and off using our own solenoid. So it would install between the line and the stove itself. So we don't rely on the gas solenoid that's already in there. We replace it with a new one that we control.
Maybe a smoke detector also to shut this up?
So this will integrate with, our plan is to integrate with some of the connected smoke detectors that are being released, like Nest, things like that. So for example, if your smoke alarm is going off, it can send a command to shut your stove off, for example, right? But one of the reasons why we're doing this product is, smoke alarms are great, but they're a little bit too late, right? Something's burning. So smoke damage is another big problem that insurance companies have. When you had a pot of rice on the stove that you forgot, that starts to, send smoke up, ruins your curtains, ruins your couch. Your house didn't burn down, but that's a, $20,000, $50,000 claim to an insurance company. So this should warn you before you get to the point where, you have rice burning on your stove. So it's not just fire, it's also smoke damage.
Did you mention price also?
So yes, the product will be in retail for, as low as $200 to the $250 range, somewhere in that price range, which, is in line with some of the other smart home devices that are out there, so the Nests and the drop cams and all. So everyone seems to be in that range, and we've done, like I said, we've done some surveys and we've done some interviews with our target market, and that seems to be what people expect this to come out in the market. That's without any discounts. There are potential, there's discussions around with insurance companies to offer point of purchase rebates as well, maybe $50 off at point of purchase to help, reduce that cost. Ideally, we love this to be free, and we love, like a smoke detector, for everybody to have one. So that's something that's, in the future. Thank you very much.